Hello YouTube, my name is RadiantXela and this is another Star Wars Destiny deck profile. Today I'll be taking a look at a deck that started a long time ago with me. It is a blue-yellow villain deck, which I believe to be the currently best decks with the current meta. This deck started for me when my girlfriend really wanted to play as Darth Vader in this game, and so I bunched my head around trying to get my head on 2 Vaders. I got my hand on them, won a tournament using the deck, won 2 tournaments using this type of deck, and now thought it would be time to properly share my, I think, final Vader Raider deck profile. Hope you enjoy. So this is the standard lineup for a Vader Raider deck. I have Elite Darth Vader 2 dice and a 1 die Tusken Raider. I'm using the Battlefield Emperor's Throne Room for aggressive use of the specials for the melee weapons in this deck. The reason why you run Raider with Tusken Raider is of course that Tusken Raider is the 1 yellow melee character that pairs up with the 21 point Darth Vader. Also, the ability of the Tusken Raider is pretty aggressive, as he allows you to discard a card from your hand as you roll him out to instantly resolve one of the dice that you land on. Mostly you want to use specials or high melee numbers with the Tusken Raider ability, but you could also go for resources to play another lightsaber next turn. It is so versatile and I really like it in this setup. Most people tend to focus down Vader, so often you will be stuck with a Tusken Raider during the late game. And actually, as you will see if you watch some of my other videos, that one Tusken Raider can take down 3 Stormtroopers on its own if you've properly set it up. So Darth Vader's ability is that when you activate him, you force an opponent to discard a card from their hand. What I like about this is of course that it effectively says your opponent's hand size is only 4 compared to 5. Taking away opposing resources is always great, both in aggro and control decks. How my Vader Raider is different from others is that I like to focus on the control part of blue-yellow, whereas I let the upgrades take out the damage instead. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. I'm running 2 Enrage, and these are the only resource cards that I am currently running apart from upgrades. This means that there are no It Binds All Things within this deck. Enrage says deal 1 damage to one of your blue characters to gain a resource, and as I said before, Vader is going to get focused, so this is a double-edged sword because you're actually helping your opponent towards their win condition, but you also get that 1 resource to put down any of the lightsabers within your first turn. Control cards, I'm running 2 He Doesn't Like You. It's a pretty stable card for villains by now. Remove one of your dice to remove an opponent's die. It's a very powerful addition of a Negotiate for heroes, because it has its resource cost reduced by 1 and it doesn't require a character die. It's very unbalanced when it comes to removal, and He Doesn't Like You is the creme de la creme. Running 2 Close Quarters Assault, because this deck has a lot of melee dice, and if you can get to remove your opponent's hand, this has happened a lot. I mostly take down 3 cards using Close Quarters Assault. It says count the number of dice you have showing melee damage, discard that many random cards from an opponent's hand. So in doing so, you completely strip your opponent of chances to beat back. When this is used during the late game, you will just roll Vader, Close Quarters Assault, take down 3 to 4 cards, and have a victory set for you. Running a single isolation because it only removes character die and it requires the spotting of a blue character. As said before, Vader tends to get focused when I played this deck, so running something that relies too heavily on having blue characters isn't the smartest move. 2 Electroshock, because no one focuses the Tusken Raider unless you throw down 2 Mind Probes in turn 1. So spot a yellow character to remove a die showing a value of 2 or lower. I might do the Good, the Bad, and the Forgotten on this card simply because it is so good, probably one of the most stable cards in the game as of right now. It is a removal at its very best. Running 2, use the Force Neutral Blue card that says spot a blue character to turn a die to any side. But I just said that anything that says but a blue character is not that good because Vader gets focused, but you really want this during the early game, because this is essentially running 4/4 strikes in this deck, because you will turn Vader to his 3 damage side and just go ham on your opponent. Running a single Disarm, and this is a card that is currently as well undervalued. This needs to be in decks that can run it. This really needs that, because it takes out Holdout Blaster. It is so important to remove those weapons that can screw you over just as well as just empower your opponent. So disarm is viable and should be going around. You remove one of your dice that shows damage, meaning that with both the Tusken Raider and Vader, you can remove any lightsaber in the game as of right now. It is so good in mirror matchups and in most of the meta matchup. Now we're going into the aggro parts. I'm running 1 Intimidate to take away all shields from a character. Why? Because the meta right now is Han Rey, it has Dooku Jabba, it has Dooku Kylo, all of those shields, Qui-Gon Rey. Remove them and get the beat down. This is essentially a 0-cost free damage card, and it is so good that you'll want at least one in every deck you can fit it. Running just 1 No Mercy and debating whether or not to actually have it. This is discard any number of blue cards from your hand and resolve one of your dice showing damage, increasing its value by 1 for each card you just discarded. What's wrong with this is that you pay 2 to improve maximum 4 damage. I know it can strike for 7 with Vader, and that's why there's 1 in here, but it also removes an entire turn of controlling for you. And with the current meta being what it is, with the Falcon decks being so annoying to play against, you don't actually want to get rid of your removal cards. You don't want that, and you don't want to quickly kill off a character. Now, the thing is, in my local meta, we have one guy, and he usually goes to the last round of our tournaments, who plays triple Stormtrooper Baalatik. So No Mercy is actually a local meta selection for me because it deals with that one player that just keeps popping up against me. It also deals with kind of well with Django, Veers, Baalatik, those kind of guys, but not as well as many others, I think. Running 2 Force Strikes isn't optional with a deck like this. It's pay 1, do 3 damage. There's really nothing wrong with that. It is essentially the Gaffy Stick special on an event card. So great since it lets you resolve right after activating it. You should really just be using Force Strike in any deck that could possibly do as much as 2 damage with it, in my opinion. Going into the upgrades, we have the stable double Holocron. Holocron is like the best card in the game right now. It is only going to get better and more valuable if you have the option. Go buy it now, because in half a year, where no Awakening boosters are left in the world and won't get a reprint, Holocron isn't going to come back, and it will just continue to spike up. It allows you to play those heavy upgrades without even paying for them. And with the Tusken Raider, if you place a Holocron on Tusken Raider during turn 1 and roll it special, you can just discard a card from your hand, resolve that special before your opponent gets to react, roll out that Mind Probe. If it lands special, resolve that, deal 5 damage. Wow, that is just insane amounts of good stuff. Holocron, yeah, so good. Force Training is one of the best upgrades in the game, again, for me. It runs on neutral power, which I like, and it only says to place but a blue character. That requirement, as I said, is a bit iffy with this deck, so actually, with this particular deck, Force Training doesn't do as well as it does on the hero side, which is actually not something that happens a lot in this game. So what I like about Force Training is, of course, that it has mixed damage, which I always like, because it has both ranged and melee, meaning that it could be that one card that won't get mitigated by your opponent. It also has focus, resources, and specials, which makes, and the special is choose and do 2 of the following: 1 damage to a character, gain resources, gain shield. What I like about this is that you can get off the resources and the damage at the same time, effectively resolving 2 of its natural sides without any problems. Also, the damage isn't specified, so when damage reduction cards appear at later states of the game, and calling it there will be cards in the later state of the game that simply says I take less melee damage or I take less range damage. This card will penetrate that, and that is just so very good. Running a Gaffy Stick. In the tournament I played, this was a Kylo Ren's lightsaber, and I actually came to regret that because that made my hand get stuck. So now I'm back at 1 Kylo Ren's lightsaber, 1 Gaffy Stick. If you want to know why I think the Gaffy Stick is great, you should take a look at my The Good, the Bad, and the Forgotten for the Gaffy Stick that I have uploaded side by side with this deck. This is one of my favorite cards in the entire game, and I've actually been thinking of cutting down 1 Force Training for another Gaffy Stick, simply because it deals more damage. It has that really great special of removing one of your dice to deal more damage, and it has redeploy. So when Vader is about to die with Kylo Ren's lightsaber on him, you remove that to put down a Gaffy Stick on that Vader that gets switched for free to the Tusken Raider. Such a great play, and that is really, really worth it. Running a Force Choke, because it's blue character only, but with a holocron you can skip both that and the force training requirement. Now, Force Choke is a 1 for this deck, a 1/1/1, because it has no damage sides apart from its 2 specials that deal unblockable damage and control dice. Force Choke is currently an iffy card, I think, because it also has the discards, the resources, and the disrupt. But in itself, this doesn't help you get to any victory apart from using the unblockable damage with the special of Emperor Throne Room. So, that's that. I haven't gotten to see any legendary Force Choke plays yet, but I'm waiting for that to happen. Running 2 standard lightsabers, again, when you have the heavy upgrades on Vader, you place this in as he's about to die, that gets switched to the Tusken Raider, and those will be the cards that let your Tusken Raider pull through to victory if you haven't had the resources to set him up properly during this game. It has so many great features, the regular lightsaber, with the redeploy, the unblockable damage, the modified damage, and the 3-for-1 that is used so well with this arm to take down opposing lightsabers as well. Such a good card, and it should be there. Force Throw is a great control card. When they put this in the starter deck, they clearly didn't know what they were doing yet. They've probably learned by now and learned that Force Throw might maybe have been a legendary simply because of its power. The 2 disrupt sides, 2 and a 1, are the only downsides to this card, and they can actually still be a threat to some decks, especially with Hyperloop resource decks popping out everywhere. You will want those disrupts. So maybe in the future you'll get to not be as sad, I guess, when rolling them. The specials is remove any die to deal a character damage equal to the value showing on that side. Specials and blanks are zeros for the purposes of this card. So doing that allows you to toss one of your baby lightsaber die that you couldn't actually pay for or it was modified, and just do damage using it as well in combination with this. Or you can remove that 4 damage Millennium Falcon your opponent had rolled out and was going to use with Emperor's Throne Room to throw that 4 damage into their Poe and get some down on that. Yeah, Force Throw is an overall great card. It is neutral, which is great, and it came in the Hero Starter deck, so if you haven't, make sure you get that when it re-releases during this April. Right, next upgrade is a single Kylo Ren's lightsaber, and this quickly became one of my favorite damage upgrades, and I just kept drawing it during the tournaments, and my girlfriend also kept drawing this during the games we had with each other. It has 3 damage sides, 2 of which are modified, which is the only downside. If the 2 on this card, the +2 on this card, had been a non-modified, this card would have been amazing. But right now, it's just plain out good. Until you look at the special, in which case it again becomes amazing, because it deals 2 damage using its special, which fixes the modified thing, making this effectively 4 damage sides. And if that damage is blocked by shield, even one of it, you get to re-roll it, meaning that you could potentially, if you're lucky, just roll out 3 specials and do tons of damage, 6 damage in a single roll resolve. That is just so good. And in worst case scenario with this card, if it lands on something you don't actually use, you get to claim with Emperor's Throne Room, do the 2 damage, roll the die again, and wait for your opponent to throw that in your face with a Force Throw. So that's the minus, because you do have to re-roll the die instead of removing it. So you leave that die open for your opponent to do stuff against you with, but that is, I promise you, the only downside for this card. Now, the last upgrade in this deck is a Mind Probe, and Mind Probe is by now also become pretty stable for blue decks. I don't like running more than 1, because what this effectively does is take away 2 of your resource turns, and I don't like that. The good thing, of course, being that when you land the Holocron special, you get it for free, but you won't always be able to rely upon getting that out unless you manage to play Holocron, not resolve, and claim Emperor's Throne Room during your first turn. That's about it. It has a special that deals damage according to characters' cards and hands. So what you want to do with this card is, of course, get it on Holocron to the Tusken Raider, and then use the Tusken Raider ability to roll it out and hopefully get the special, and then get the ability of Tusken Raider to do 5 damage during your first action for that round. So the last 2 cards are the backup muscles. These are the creme de la creme of yellow villain. it says that when it comes out, you place 3 damage on it, and then as an action, you can exhaust backup muscle to switch one of those 3 damage onto a character. Now, what you want to do with that, of course, is push through and deal lethal damage. This is so good because you usually win using this. It takes down Dooku, it takes down Qui-Gon, it takes down Han, it takes down Rey. All of those meta decks are getting rammed out by backup muscle, and it is a 1 for 3. This deck has 6 cards that you play for 1 resource and deal 3 damage using. So great, so amazing, and that should really, really, really be included in any deck list that has the option to do so. This was my version of the Vader Raider, and I will see you all after commercials. What up, guys? Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, remember to like, subscribe, and give any comments for further suggestions that you would like to see in my videos. If you liked what you saw here, then make sure you go to my sponsor, KelsolDK, for any of your nerdy card gamey anime kind of needs. That is KELZ0R.DK. They ship internationally to every country in the world. And if you enter the coupon code RX YouTube into the commentary field with your purchase, you will get a mystery gift discount for purchasing. Again, thank you so much for watching this. Go there, get your good stuff, and I will see you all next time. Hey guys, hope you all enjoyed that. I'm here with a sort of announcement thingy slash newsy thingy, because what I want to tell you about now is a new show that I'll be adding to my YouTube. I'm really getting into Star Wars Destiny, and after being on the Chance Cube twice now, I realized that I really enjoy doing these talk show things. So I'm gonna host my own. It's gonna be called Destiny Talks, and I'll be holding it 1 to 3 times a month with people, and the first episode is going to feature me and 3 other tournament officials talking about things that we've experienced during tournaments, during play, during setup, everything that maybe you didn't actually know that tournament officials do up to, during, and after a tournament. Another thematic that is going to be coming out is a discussion of our experiences with the Spirit of Rebellion pre-release. And if you would like to be in that video, in that talk, leave a comment in this section or on my channel, send me a message. I'll randomly select 3 to 4 people to join me to talk about their experiences after 1st and 2nd of April, to talk about Spirit of Rebellion. I hope I'll get a lot of messages, and I will see you all next time, this time for good.